Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily podcast. Now, as you all know by now, every single day I'll get a different guest from a different industry talking about how technology is impacting or transforming their life, their business, or indeed their world. I also get a big kick about getting people thinking differently about areas that they see every day in life without even thinking about technology or associating that with technology. And for example, if I was to say to you textiles, I don't think you'd be thinking about tech. But I recently come across CELLIANT technology, which is a proprietary blend of naturally occurring minerals and elements that are embedded into fibres, yarns and fabrics, or applied as a printed coating to textiles, infusing them with the power of infrared light. And CELLIANT ultimately captures and converts your body's heat into infrared energy, helping you perform stronger, recover faster, and sleep better. But how does this technology work? How is it made? How is it sourced? How is it tested? What is the science behind it? As a guy with a curious mind, these are just a few of the things I wanted to learn more about. So when I turned to our friend Google, I quickly came across Seth Casden, who is a pioneer in textile innovation and creator of CELLIANT. But I wanted to learn more about the story behind the technology too. How he dislocated his shoulder, underwent painful surgery, but this technology transformed his recovery. And I suspect that would be the spark that would impact his desire to help others have that same experience. But I don't want to reveal too many spoilers here. A great story behind this one, great technology, and hopefully get everybody thinking differently about textiles, infrared, health and wellness, and everything in between. But before we get today's guest on, it's time for a quick shout out to the sponsors of Tech Talks Daily. And in today's digital age where data breaches are all too common, securing sensitive information has never been more critical, right? Well, enter Kiteworks, a pinnacle of managed file transfer security, or MFT security. So with its FedRAMP moderate authorization, a prestigious certification that they've held since 2017 by the Department of Defense, Kiteworks stand as a bastion of security in a sea of uncertainty. So step into the future of secure file transfer with Kiteworks by visiting kiteworks.com today to see why it's hailed as the most secure MFT on the market. So once again, kiteworks.com. And now, let's get today's guest on. So buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the US, where Seth is waiting to share his story. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell everyone listening a little about who you are and what you do?
Yes, thank you for having me. This is Seth Casden. I'm the CEO of Hologenix, and our product is CELLIANT. And we patented a proprietary technology that's embedded in basically any type of textile to improve health and wellness.
Well, there's so much I want to dive in and talk about with you today, but I think probably the best way of setting the scene is asking you to share your story of your personal experience with CELLIANT and how it played a pivotal role in your very personal recovery process. And how did this experience inspire the mission and vision of everything that you're doing there? I'd love for you to share that story.
Thanks, Neil. I'd be happy to. For me, it started out as a labor of love or a passion project. At one point, I was thinking about being a geologist, and I've always had an interest in understanding new technologies and particularly how the world of healthcare is evolving and looking at really more homeopathic or alternative methods of healing. And I became fascinated in the powers of certain minerals to emit infrared and looking at what infrared can do. And I've always been one that's been interested in what people, previously thought was not possible. So if you look over the last, few centuries from going, the earth is flat to, the earth is the center of the universe to, we can't fly. We're always challenging ourselves and kind of breaking barriers of what we think is possible. And when it comes to infrared and this invisible energy, it does sound to be the stuff of science fiction. And so I was fascinated to see if there was anything there. And I had an injury rock climbing on my shoulder, and I needed a procedure called a Bristow procedure. And I was able to use some CELLIANT gauze and wadding, and had just an incredible experience in terms of shortening what the normal recovery period is and the healing period. My doctor really validated that my shoulder was getting back to 100% much quicker on the short end of what is normally seen. And I also had some incredible experiences with animals and horses and cats and dogs. And, sometimes people say, well, it's a placebo effect, but with animals, there really is no placebo effect. So seeing the effect on me personally and seeing on animals really convinced me that there is something here beyond just what the science says.
It's incredibly cool what you're doing here. And I love how you're almost reimagining the role of textiles in our lives as active contributors to health and wellness. But can you just explain the core principle behind this innovative approach and what makes it different and stand out from other wellness items on the market right now?
Sure. The technology is founded on the idea that infrared energy is an energy source for the body. Yeah. And when you expose the body to infrared energy, there's a whole host of things, of improvements that we see. And the one that is overarching is an increase in circulation, an increase in blood flow. And when you have that increase in circulation, it helps the body maintain homeostasis. It helps with thermoregulation. And that leads to a whole host of performance and recovery benefits, and helping to improve sleep as well. Our body is trying to stay in balance at 98.6 or 37 C, and that takes an incredible amount of energy to maintain. And so at any given time, our body's giving off around 100 watts of energy, and that is energy that just dissipates into the atmosphere. And what CELLIANT does is absorbs that heat, and the minerals convert that heat to infrared and direct it back to the body. And that's what really gives this boost to our performance, to our recovery, to our sleep. So we've taken something that we need every day. We need to clothe ourselves. We need to sleep on a bed, sheets. We're surrounded by textiles throughout our day, and we're doing more than just providing a fashion statement or covering the body. We're actually now able to provide a physiological benefit to the person using the technology.
And your flagship product, which you mentioned a few moments ago, that really helped you, CELLIANT, that harnesses infrared energy to improve human health. But can you tell me a little bit more about the science behind it and how it works, and obviously the benefits that it offers, particularly in terms of athletic performance or recovery, like what you encountered there?
The premise is that when you increase circulation to a given part of the body, it's going to provide more nutrients, provide an uptake in oxygen absorption, and really our cells are the building blocks of our body. There is no energy organ. All of our energy is made in each cell individually, the ATP process. If you go back and remember your high school or university chemistry class. And so what infrared does, what CELLIANT does, is it directs energy into the mitochondria of the cells that enable it to basically increase the cellular respiration rate. And we know through studies that if you increase blood flow to a muscle, for example, that increases the strength and the performance of the muscle. And when you're looking at recovery from a marathon or just a jog on the weekend, the removal of lactic acid and metabolic waste is based on the flow of circulation, the rate of circulation. So if you can increase circulation, you're going to help eliminate the lactic acid and the metabolic waste at a higher rate, which helps your body recover faster and helps eliminate and reduce soreness at a faster rate. So all of our body's performance is really tied to circulation and blood flow. And by being able to enhance that, CELLIANT provides a proven performance and recovery benefit.
And just to bring to life some of what we're talking about here, is there anything you can share around how CELLIANT has enabled some huge world-class brands to differentiate their products? And if you can, provide a few examples of how incorporating CELLIANT has enhance consumer products and indeed their user experiences? Because I think this is what really brings it to life.
Absolutely, Neil. Thank you for the question. I think, we're at our heart and soul providing a benefit to brands that are looking to differentiate themselves. So we partner with leading brands to incorporate this technology to reach their consumers and their customers. We had the pleasure of sponsoring the San Francisco Marathon a few years back. Had some incredible testimonials from that event and really seeing how this affects people in real time. We've partnered with brands like Under Armour, KT Tape, Excel Wetsuits, Bear Mattress. What our technology allows those brands to do is incorporate this performance benefit or recovery benefit, as the case may be, into their products and do more than just provide lip service to innovation. And it's obviously a crowded marketplace, and brands are looking to distinguish themselves in whatever manner they can. And we give them a proven, 10 published clinical studies of support and validation to go to the market and really provide their brand, their customers a product that can back the claims up.
Well, I'm curious, what have been some of the significant challenges that you've had to face in developing and commercializing CELLIANT? Because I would imagine that it's not all been plain sailing, and we only learn from those kind of trials and tribulations along the way and bringing the product to market. So anything you can share around those challenges and how you overcome them?
Absolutely. I smirk or kind of chuckle at that question because it's been quite the challenge. And for a number of years, it wasn't really clear if it was possible. I don't have a textile background. And so I came into that pretty blindly. And when you go to an extruder of polyester or nylon or really any material that's used in knitting of fabrics, telling them that you want to add a mineral matrix is like a contaminant. Their machines are designed with filters and screens to eliminate any kind of particulates. And so you're basically adding dirt, minerals into their system, and it's incredibly abrasive and corrosive. And we lost some accounts in the beginning by not being able to deliver the goods, so to speak. And so it took really just some great partners at the supply chain level and partnering with brands that were committed to help drive and pull through the product, and also just improving the technology of grinding and getting the particles smaller and smaller and being able to disperse them. The average particle size is around 1 micron, which is about 1/100th the thickness of a human hair, just to give you an idea of the scale. And those challenges at one point seemed insurmountable, but we were able to really get enough efficiency and improvement to deliver a product. And that was really a huge turning point and milestone in our company's history.
And I'm not sure how much you'll be able to share with me today, but if we dare to look ahead into the future, how do you envision the future of textiles evolving? And are there any other health and wellness benefits that you might be exploring to further enhance these human experiences?
Well, Neil, everyone is shouting from the rooftop innovation and innovation and health and wellness, and to be able to really deliver something that is more than just words has been our mission. And especially in a post-COVID world where there's such an emphasis on maintaining our health and our quality of life and doing everything we can to support that. Most, if not, all brands that are looking forward have been tasked with incorporating some type of health and wellness mandate or innovation into their products. And, for us being at the leading edge of that and the forefront of, showing the world what's possible in terms of what can be done just in your everyday life to harness really just the energy around you and convert that into a usable form or manner that can boost your performance and your recovery. I think that's really attractive to a lot of brands out there. And when you look at the innovation in textiles, going back, there really hasn't been much since we invented synthetic fibers and nylon and polyester. And a lot of the innovation has been around hand and feel and breathability and moisture wicking and waterproof. And for us, we're now trying to change the paradigm that instead of looking at what the performance of the material, the fabric, looking at the performance of yourself. And with the explosion of wearable devices and this, growing ability to look at your body's measurements in real time and quantified self-care, we see just a huge opportunity to show the world that we have a technology that you can measure and see in real time. If not see with your eyes, you can see with the results, just the impact. And as we look forward, I think more and more companies will want to innovate to actual benefits for the body. And for us, our mission is to just get to a place, to a tipping point, where unequivocally people agree that our product does what it says it does. And I think we're close.
And you've had an incredibly inspiring career, and I love everything that you've achieved here. And I suspect there'll be a lot of startup founders and business leaders listening all around the world at various stages of their own career. So if I was to ask you to look back, what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs and innovators that might be looking to follow in your footsteps, make a meaningful impact in their own industries, especially for those working at the intersection of technology and wellness, because it's incredibly tricky path to take and filled with so many obstacles and tremendous dips and climbs. So much going on there. But what would you advise to that person that's listening to our conversation today?
Well, I always hesitate to give advice without knowing the situation or the person and what they're facing. But I think something that you could agree, or I would say is universally true, is that the most important factor in the success of an entrepreneur in whatever endeavor they're undertaking is a clear and convincing understanding of themselves and their mission and what they're trying to do. And if you've been at it as long as I have, that can change over time. And you want to make sure that you're always being true to who you are, because it takes an incredible amount of energy and dedication, the lift to really do something truly innovative. When you have a sea of doubters and skeptics surrounding you, requires an unflinching confidence in your vision and yourself. So I always encourage people to go into that process of self-discovery and self-understanding. And that's sometimes where the darkest shadows are and the biggest fears. And when you can face those and really understand why you're doing what you're doing and come out the other side, then you have all the confidence in the world to achieve what you're doing. And, I really like the adage that, well, I shouldn't say I like, but I think it's very true. We're most likely to give up when we're on the verge of success. So, just stay with it. And if you have that confidence and belief in yourself, I think you'll be very happy with the result.
Fantastic advice. I can't thank you enough for sharing your story and your insights today, but I'd like you to leave everyone listening with one final gift. And that is, I always ask my guests to leave everyone listening with either a book that they'd recommend that they check out that we'll add to our Amazon wish list, or a song that means something to you. It could be a power song or a guilty pleasure, whatever it might be that we'll add to our Spotify playlist. But what would you like to leave everyone listening with, and why?
Well, Neil, I hope you'll forgive my hubris, but I'm going to answer both.
Yes.
I would. The Alchemist is just an all-time favorite of mine. I won't spoil it for those that haven't read it, but for those that have, know, the secrets within you. And as far as a song, when I'm struggling or not really sure what my mission is, or if I'm on a long run training for a triathlon, I love My Friend by Groove Armada.
Oh, great. A great track there. I love that. A great one for working out as well, and also a great book. So I'll get them both added to the Amazon wishlist and the Spotify playlist. And obviously, we've been talking a lot about the work that you're doing here. And I will add a video so people can see it, because I know this is an audio podcast, but I'll add a video to the show notes and the blog post that I will promote this episode with. But for anyone listening, just wanting to dig a little bit deeper, find out more information about anything, or even connect with you or your team, where would you like to point everyone listening?
Well, I would encourage people to go to our website, CELLIANT.com, CELLIANT.com, or look for us on LinkedIn. Look for me on LinkedIn, Seth Casden. Be happy to engage with anyone that reaches out.
Well, you really are a pioneer in textile innovation, the creator of CELLIANT, which is this fiber additive that increases blood flow and increases speed of recovery through infrared energy. Incredibly cool what you're doing here with the technology. But I think what brings it all to life is your personal journey and how it transformed your life and impacted your desire to help each other. And one of the things that I always end every episode of this show is technology works best when it brings people together. And I love what you're doing here with technology and how you're making a big difference. So thanks for sharing your story today.
Thanks for having me, Neil. It's been a pleasure.
So as we wrap up our conversation with Seth today, I think it's clear that the horizon of textile technology is not just about aesthetic and durability, but it is increasingly about health, wellness and recovery. And the journey of CELLIANT technology, from a personal recovery aid to a major innovation embedded in the products of leading brands, for me underscores this transformative shift in how we view textiles in our daily lives. And that is why I invited Seth on the podcast today, to share that story and hopefully get everybody thinking differently about a future where every textile product could contribute positively to our health and well-being. It's not only innovative, but also inspiring for me. And as we continue to navigate a world where health and wellness are paramount, the potential of technologies like CELLIANT to enhance our quality of life is immense. And this is just one example that we're talking about here. So again, Seth, if you're listening back, thank you for sharing your personal journey, professional insights, and leaving us with a great book and a killer tune too. And I'd invite you to join the conversation. Let me see a glimpse into the future where our environment works in harmony with our bodies and unlock its full potential. Let me know what you think of all this, everything you've heard today. I'd love to hear your thoughts too. And equally, there's a space on here to come and join me on the podcast if you'd like. But equally, if you'd just like to send me a quick message, techblogwriter@outlook.com, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just at Neil C. Hughes. Easiest guy in the world to find. But other than that, it's time for me to prepare for tomorrow's guest. Yeah, we're going to take a completely different topic tomorrow. Textiles today, what will it be tomorrow? Well, you're going to have to come back and join me one more time. So thank you for listening today, though. And until next time, don't be a stranger.